Today we're going to again look at the seventh commandment, and this one has to do with what God forbids in the seventh commandment. So, what He tells us to not do, and especially in regards stealing money and goods. What does God forbid of us? We're going to be reading the whole chapter 7 of Joshua. It's a little bit longer, it's 26 verses, but we'll read through it. And this is the story of Achan and his sin. We'll start from verse 2. Now Joshua sent men from Jericho to Ai, which is near Beth Aven to the east of Bethel, and told them, "Go up and spy out the region." So the men went up and spied out Ai. When they returned to Joshua, they said, "Not all the army will have to go up against Ai. Send 2,000 or 3,000 men to take it, and do not weary the whole army, for only a few people live there." So about 3,000 men went up, but they were routed by the men of Ai, which means that they got defeated. They got pushed back by the men of Ai, and they killed about 36 of them. They chased the Israelites from the city gate as far as the stone quarries and struck them down on the slopes. At this, the hearts of the people melted in fear and became like water. Then Joshua tore his clothes and fell face down to the ground before the ark of the Lord, remaining there until evening. The elders of Israel did the same and sprinkled dust on their heads. And Joshua said, "Alas, sovereign Lord, why did you ever bring this people across the Jordan to deliver us into the hands of the Amorites to destroy us? If only we had been content to stay on the other side of the Jordan. Pardon your servant, Lord. What can I say now? Now that Israel has been routed by its enemies. The Canaanites and the other people of the country will hear about this, and they will surround us and wipe out our name from the earth. What then will you do for your own great name?" The Lord said to Joshua, "Stand up. What are you doing down on your face? Israel has sinned. They have violated my covenant which I commanded them to keep. They have taken some of the devoted things, they have stolen, they have lied, they have put them with their own possessions. That is why the Israelites cannot stand against their enemies. They turn their backs and run because they have been made liable to destruction. I will not be with you anymore unless you destroy whatever among you is devoted to destruction." So what's been happening so far is the Israelites went to battle and they got defeated. And Joshua said, "Lord, why have we been defeated?" And it was because one of the Israelites stole from God, and then they lied about it. And God said, "You're going to continue to lose unless you destroy what among you is stealing." Continuing on in verse 13, Go consecrate the people. Tell them, consecrate yourselves in preparation for tomorrow, for this is what the Lord, the God of Israel, says. There are devoted things among you, Israel. You cannot stand against your enemies until you remove them. In the morning, present yourselves tribe by tribe. The tribe the Lord chooses shall come forward, clan by clan. The clan the Lord chooses shall come forward, family by family, and the family the Lord chooses shall come forward, man by man. So basically what was going to happen is they're going to come forward in groups of people. The Lord would choose a group, and then they'd come in smaller groups of people until they found out who it was that stole. Whoever is caught with the devoted things shall be destroyed by fire, along with all that belongs to him. He has violated the covenant of the Lord and has done an outrageous thing in Israel. Early the next morning, Joshua had Israel come forward by tribes, and Judah was chosen. The clans of Judah came forward, the Zerarites were chosen. He had the clan of the Zerarites come forward by families, and Zimri was shown. Joshua had his family come forward, man by man, and Achan, son of Carmi, the son of Zimri, the son of Zerah, and the tribe of Judah was chosen. Then Joshua said to Achan, "My son, give glory to the Lord, the God of Israel, and honor me. Tell me what you have done. Do not hide it from me." Achan replied, "It is true. I have sinned against the Lord, the God of Israel. This is what I have done. When I saw in the plunder a beautiful robe from Babylonia, 200 shekels of silver, and a bar of gold weighing 50 shekels, I coveted them and took them. They are hidden in the ground inside my tent with the silver underneath." So Joshua sent messengers, and they ran to the tent, and there it was, hidden in his tent with the silver underneath. They took the things from the tent, brought them to Joshua and all the Israelites, and spread them out before the Lord. Then Joshua, together with all of Israel, took Achan, son of Zerah, the silver, the robe, the gold bar, his sons and daughters, his cattle, donkeys, and sheep, his tent, and all that he had, to the valley of Achor. Joshua said, "Why have you brought this trouble on us? The Lord will bring trouble on you today." Then Achan and everything he had was down in this valley. Then all of Israel stoned him, and after they had stoned the rest, they burned them. Over Achan they heaped up a large pile of rocks, which remains to this day. Then the Lord turned from his fierce anger. Therefore that place has been called the Valley of Achor ever since. So Achan, because he stole, ended up losing everything he had, and even his family. They were all killed because of their sin. We're going to go now to Ephesians 4, verse 28. It says, "Anyone who has been stealing must steal no longer, but must work. Do something useful with their own hands, that they may have something to share with those in need." So God wants us to, instead of stealing, do work so that we have more to share with those in need. God forbids us to steal our neighbor's money and goods. What else does God forbid of us? Looking at Leviticus 19:35. It says, "Do not use dishonest standards when measuring length, weight, or quantity." So that'd be like me saying, "Hey, I'll give you 3 pieces of candy for $1. And then getting the dollar and me giving you just 3 crumbs of candy saying, "Oh, those are pieces." That would be dishonest dealing. So God forbids us to take our neighbor's money or goods by dishonest dealing. It'd be the same way saying, "Hey, I'll buy that house from you for $100,000, but then when you go inside the house, it's all destroyed and not taken care of." And that would be dishonest because you weren't straightforward in what the problem was. So what does God forbid in the 7th commandment? God forbids us to take our neighbor's possessions or get them by dishonest dealing. We close in prayer. Dear God, make us honest and truthful in all our dealings with other children, with our parents, our pastor, and all people. Keep us from wanting what we do not have or get it honestly. Make us satisfied with what you have given us. Let us not cheat anyone, even in little things. If in weakness we have been dishonest, forgive us for Jesus' sake. Amen. All right, 5th grade, you might see this sheet and you see it stapled together. And I know you're going to look at it and you're going to say, "Holy cow, this is 3 pages long." We're going to work through some of it together so that it's not a ton on your plate. The first 2 questions: what is the 7th commandment? You shall not steal. And then the second part, it's asking us, what does the commandment say we should not do? You should fear and love God, that we do not take our neighbor's money or property. or get it by dishonest dealing. All right, for this first part, this is on the road, or these ones go together in Luke 10. So these two go together. And then these questions all go with the book of John. So make sure you look those up. They're going to be very specific to be able to help you out with answering these questions, but once you look up one verse, you've got those two questions answered. So I'm going to let you do the rest of the front side on your own. But then when you flip it on to the back side, we're going to do number 9 together. It says, what is another way people sometimes steal? Psalm 37, verse 21. The wicked borrow and do not repay, but the righteous give generously. So another way people steal is by borrowing and not repaying. Maybe this would be with money, saying, hey, can I borrow $5? And then never giving that money back to that person. Maybe if you are like me, I grew up with an older sister, and I'd say, hey, can I borrow this shirt? And if I really liked it, I wouldn't want to give that back to her. So those are different ways that people can steal. All right, I would like you to do these ones. It seems like a lot of questions, but it will go very quickly. You're looking up one story in 1 Kings 21, verses 1 to 19. You don't need to read all the verses. It'll always tell you what verse to look in to find the answer. So that will help you out. And then on the back side, we will go through all of these together. Is it a sin to steal small or cheap things? There's no verse, but yes, it is still a sin. God doesn't say, hey, no stealing unless it's something small. God tells us not to steal anything. He commands us to not steal, big or small. The next question says, give 2 examples of robbery, which is stealing by force. I want you to think about that for a second. 2 examples of robbery, and then we've got theft and stealing by fraud. There's probably a bunch of different examples that you can come up with on those ones. The examples that I came up with on those ones is, so stealing by force, I would think of, in a lot of movies, you see like a bank robbery. That would be by force, where they hold up the person with a gun and say, give me, or open the safe. So, a bank robbery. Or I think of, sometimes you might see somebody on the street getting robbed. So, just someone on the street. And that might be a case of there might be 3 people against 1, where they just come at you and they are forcing you to give them their money. Gave 2 examples of theft, so stealing secretly. That can be a bunch of different things. So that could just be in the grocery store, you might try and sneak something into your pocket, being secret. So from the stealing something small from the grocery store. Another one I think of is maybe you go into your mom's wallet, you see that there's $25 in there, and you say, maybe if I just take $5, she won't notice that it's gone. So from mom's purse, and then mom goes, "Where's my $5?" I don't know. And that's secretly because you're trying to be sneaky about it. Give 2 examples of stealing by fraud, which is cheating someone. And I think of, we were on the back side of the page, it's so by borrowing and not repaying. That would be by fraud because you're thinking that somebody's going to be paying you back. So by borrowing and not repaying. Another way that you might cheat somebody is maybe you've got a younger sibling and you might say, "Hey, I'll give you, for your $10 bill, I'll give you 10 pennies." Or even 20 pennies. And the way that that's cheating that person is because they think they're getting something better. They're getting 20 pennies and you're getting a $10 bill. So being sneaky like that where the person doesn't know the full story behind it. Number 24 says, "What should we do if we have stolen something?" That is from Ephesians 4, verse 28. It says, "Anyone who has been stealing must steal no longer, but must work." So steal no more, but work. And then it goes on to say, work so that you can share with those in need. How do we get God's forgiveness if we've stolen? 1 John 1, verses 9. If we confess our sins, he is faithful and just and will forgive us our sins and purify us from all unrighteousness. This isn't just if we've stolen. How do we get God's forgiveness in general? We get it by confessing our sins. When we confess our sins, God will forgive us. All right, so 5th grade, you have these questions that you'll find the answer in 1 Kings 21. Make sure you look at the verses to help you out. And then the other ones, Luke 10 and John 12. Quite a few questions, but they'll go by quickly as long as you're looking at those verses to help you out with that. If you've got any questions, bring them to the Zoom call. If not, you will be all set for lesson 25.